Right, boys, we're back. As far as I'm aware now, I've switched the mic because the microphone does seem to be bugging today, so I've switched it to the camera. I'll sort that out later. It's because I've been off for 2 weeks, so I haven't had a chance to sit for an update of the software. Yeah.
Welcome back to the stream. Morning, everyone.
We should be all good now. We should be all good as far as I'm aware.
2 weeks, so I haven't had a chance to.
Yep, okay, the mic is working fine. And we're good to go. Apologies for that, everybody. This is what happens when I'm not prepared after being off for 2 weeks on holiday, not a chance to settle the stream up, and I've had an OBS problem running this morning as well, so we haven't really had all the best chance to set everything up, but we are completely set up now. So yeah, we are ready and done and set up ready, all to get going. Yeah, boys, we'll see, as I was saying anyway, before the microphone started playing up. The main reason I went for Pickford was because I just think Sean Dyche is a very defensive manager. So I feel like Pickford can bring a lot of clean sheets to the table with the opening fixtures he's got. I feel he's going to get a lot of save points and a lot of bonus points. And I know a lot of people are going Ramsdale, and obviously for me, Ramsdale's a great pick, but I just think Gabriel's attacking threat is better. And I just think I'd rather have Gabriel after how much he burnt me last season. I just don't want to get burnt by him again. And I think Gabriel really, with Arsenal's opening fixtures and just as a set-piece attacking threat, is better than Zinchenko for me, personally. So that's why I've gone Gabriel. And I just think at like 15% owned, he's not really a differential, but he's a lower owned player, which is good. Because I do want a very template team to start off with, so my rank doesn't get screwed. But I do want like that one differential, which is where Pascal Gross has come into play. I had Foden there, and it would be the case of maybe going Foden over Mbeumo, but I can't burn myself at the start of the game when Mbeumo is like 36% owned by not going with Mbeumo. Where if Foden pops off and he's only 12% owned, it's not going to hurt me as much compared to Mbeumo popping off and Foden blanking. Do you know what I mean? Or Mbeumo even just has a couple points. It's still going to be better off me keeping Mbeumo. And I'm not willing to get rid of him at that 6.5 price. I think Pascal Gross as well for me, because Pascal Gross is most likely going to be on penalties. Those opening fixtures for Brighton, he's 4-point-something% owned. I could really see Pascal Gross absolutely popping off in those opening 6 fixtures. Which is why I've gone confident and gone triple Brighton. Because if it does go messed up, I have got that mill in the bank to just move him straight to a Foden, a Mount or a Maddison. There's loads of moves I can just go Pascal Gross to if it does turn into a bad choice. So I don't mind having Pascal Gross as my differential, because I just think a lot of people aren't going with him this season. And it's a bit a thing where I'm thinking outside the box. Like last season he had a hard fixture and he just popped off with like an 18-pointer. And I just think with Luton first game, I think Luton are going to have to get the feel of the Prem. They're not going to be really ready, and I think Brighton are going to come out all attacking. And really, I know a lot of people are saying Luton's going to keep like a 0-0, 1-0 win to Brighton kind of game. I don't think that's going to be the way. I think it's going to be like a 4-0. And to answer your question, Slay, as well, I am considering Onana myself, depending on his price point. If he is priced at 4.5 million, then I'm going Onana all the way. If he's priced at 5 million, then I'll consider it, but I do think Pickford's a better option at the price if Onana's 5 million. But if Onana's 4.5 million, I'd be tempted to go Onana. I just don't like that Spurs fixture the second game. I need to see how we're going to come out and how we look. I do expect just to keep a clean sheet every single game in those first 3 opening fixtures, but it's just depending on how Spurs are going to come out. Whether Kane's going to be at Spurs, whether Raya's going to Spurs, whether the new signings are going to be who they're going to be coming in, like defenders, attackers, and so on. How Maddison's going to perform, how we're going to perform. It's really iffy. Yeah, I seen the rumour this morning. It's really iffy at the minute, which is why I'm a bit like. And the thing is, it's hard as well with this year. I find for the midfield because there's so many midfielders you want. I'd love Foden. I'd love Sterling at a differential. I love Gross. You know, Matoma and Mbumo, Rashford's necessary. Saka's necessary. So you can only have one of Gross, Sterling, Foden, Grealish, or Maddison, or Mount, essentially, as your differential. So it's so hard to try and get that differential right. But I think just because Gross is on penalties, just edges it for me. I would go Sterling, but I just know that Nkunku's going to be on pens. The thing with me with Salah, say, this season, if you want Salah, go Salah. It's totally up to you. But the reason I'm not going Salah, I just don't see any value in having Salah. When if you go Salah, you have to pretty much destroy your whole midfield to like 6.5s and all 5.5s. When if you don't have Salah, you can have Rashford, Saka, Fodens, and Mbumos, Matomas, Haalands, Jesus, you know. And Gross is 6.5 mil, the same as Matoma. The only one I'm going to say to everyone, I don't think I'm going to go near, unless we see a consistent amount of minutes from Arteta, is Martinelli. I don't like the look of Martinelli. Not because he's not good, and I reckon he's probably going to absolutely diminish my rank now I've said that, but it's mainly because of the Trossard rotation and the Havertz rotation between Martinelli. I don't know where Havertz is going to play. He might play where Martinelli is with the Martinelli role. He might play midfield. Trossard's going to be switching and rotating with Martinelli and want to get a place in the team. So I think the only solid nailed on Arsenal assets for me are Saka, Jesus and Gabriel. I know Odegaard's been phenomenal, but there's rumours now that he's had a bad knock. So he's not necessarily, you know, up to fitness, and if that knock progresses and he does a season game and that knock gets worse or something. So I'm just waiting. Son, I love Heung-min Son, and I really wish I could have Heung-min Son, but the only way I could do it is not having Trent. And do I think having Son over Mbeumo and Trent to Shaw is better than Trent and Mbeumo? No, I don't. Mbeumo's on penalties. He's basically going to be playing striker or left winger in that Brentford attack, who we have seen can absolutely demolish teams last season. And I think he's going to be the main talesman. I know people are talking Worcester, but I just can't see him being the main talesman. It'll be Mbeumo. And that 6.5 million price pot is just amazing. You know, you've got Pascal Gross, great attacker, great first opening free fixtures on penalties. Saka, great free fixtures, proven asset, 50% owned on penalties, nailed in. Rashford, 50% asset. I know Bruno's on penalties, but that could possibly change to Rashford this season. I know Bruno's normally nailed on pens, but I'm just curious to whether Erik ten Hag is going to sit at Rashford for them, considering how good of a season Rashford had last year. But it will 90% be on Bruno Fernandes. I just think Bruno Fernandes is going to sit very deep this season with the implications of Mount. So I just don't really see Bruno Fernandes as a necessary put him in your team, forget about him kind of option. Everyone's really bigging Bruno up at that 8.5 mil price. And I just think, yes, he could have a couple good, decent 12, 15, maybe 11-point games like last year. But is he better than Rashford? No. Is he going to sit deep? Most likely, because Mount's going to play pretty much that more attacking role. So it's really going to depend on how Ten Hag lines up, but I just don't think that Rashford and Bruno is better than having Rashford and Saka, which is why I've gone for Rashford and Saka. I can't justify putting Bruno in that team. Like, I can't even justify putting him over Gross, because I think Gross is 2 mil cheaper. He's on penalties the same as Bruno. He's more attacking, especially now Trossard's left the team last season. McAllister's just left the team. The only other one I really like, and I've really got my eye on, where Gross is Enciso. Enciso at 5.5 mil is going to be one of those players where he could absolutely be like Almiron last year. 5.5 mil, you know, to 6 mil mark, and just be absolute beast, scoring every game, popping 10, 13, 11 pointers in a row. And I could really see Enciso doing that, but it's whether De Zerbi's going to play him in that more attacking role. You know, whether he's going to start him, where he's going to play him, what his XG, what his stats are going to come up as, and I can only really base it on what I know. And I don't really know much more on Enciso, apart from that couple good spell of games he had last season where he was scoring, which is why I've gone for Gross. As I just think the penalties just edges it, and that's the reason I've gone for the one more price mark, as the penalties just make it a little bit better. Yeah, there is a lot of options this year, and that's really the big headache with the midfield, is there's so many options. And I just think people are going, oh yeah, Trent's necessary. Yes, I've got Trent in because, let's be fair, I'm scared that Trent's going to pop off and ruin my rank, which is why I've got Trent in. Nothing more but fear of Trent ruining me. I'd rather not have Trent in, I just haven't got the balls to go without Trent at this current moment. Like, I would generally go for no Mbumo, but then he'll burn me. Trent will burn me at high ownership, so I just think... You suppose you can go Shaw over Trent because there's similar ownership, but it's trying to get the one right of who's going to pop off. And I do think Chelsea are going to come out good this year, yes. I do think you're going to come out good this year, Slay, but I just think if Trent does play that more attacking, but this is really going to depend because Liverpool's bought in McAllister and loads of more attacking midfielders like Sabozio. I can't pronounce his name properly, don't judge me. So whether them being implemented in... Yeah, I know I do. I've done my Viva Fantasy League for the family one, and I'll do another one for the FPL channel. I'll sort that out soon. But with Trent, might be more playing defensively, as there is a lot more Liverpool attackers being brought in. So maybe Klopp's going to try and hold the defence back this year to not concede as many goals and focus more on midfield and wingers attacking, which means Trent and Robertson could be sat back and not playing that inverted right and left back role, where they're attacking more. But Trent will still be on those set pieces and have that goal threat. But do I think Trent is definitely going to justify his 8 mil mark? We'll see. We will see. I think it's more the fear of going without him at the moment, but I might be tempted to go Shaw and just leave the 2.5 mil in the bank. So go Shaw game week 1, and if Trent does well versus Chelsea, I have a mark to go to Trent in game week 2. So that does leave me money to move around. Like, if I start off with Gabriel, Shaw and a Stupinan, and I have that 2.5 plus the 1 mil I've got in the bank, I can easily move any of Shaw, Gabriel or a Stupinan to Trent with one move. That does leave options. And also I can move Mbumo to Son with one move. So that money does leave me options, and that's the thing. You need to make sure you've got this spare money to move to the big players. Luton and Burnley blank game week 2, by the way. Is there? Blank game week 2? What do you mean blank game week 2? I have not looked at this, so I don't know. So I'm not going to say anything. Oh yeah, they do. Oh fuck. That's fine. I put Baldock in instead of Bayer, so I'll still keep Bell, but I'll put Baldock in instead of Bayer. Because if Sheffield United defender, it won't make much of a difference, to be honest. For the first 6 game weeks, it's very doubtful any of my subs are going to come on anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. But it does throw a bit of annoyance in the works. Yeah, I didn't actually look at that. To be honest with you, I haven't had much chance to go through like everything. What do they do to their new stadium? Oh yeah, St. Luton having a new. I don't know why Burnley ain't playing there. That's a bit weird. Yeah, it's so tough, man. This year, I think it's going to be really, really hard. And it's going to be really, really, really tricky to get things right. I did, boys, if I'm going to be honest with you, Slate, I expected, and a load of people said the same thing, I expected Haaland to be about the 16 million price point this year. And if he was, then I wouldn't have paid for it for him. I would have gone Salah and Kane. But I think anyone who goes without Haaland just because he's 1.5 mil more than Kane is delusional. Because Haaland is just going to be a beast, I hope, this season. Now, it could be a thing of like where you don't need a good bench to start off with. It could be a thing of where Van Persie kind of thing in FPL, where he absolutely had a crap season. The season after he scored like 30-something goals. So I'm hoping Haaland doesn't go for like a blank season. I'm hoping. But it's really going to solely depend on how Haaland performs pre-season, I think. But I'm not going to have him in my team. No matter how he performs, he's going in my team either way because he's your captaincy option every week. I think for me, Slay, RVP. Rip. I do think, personally, it's up to you, but personally I would not go Salah. I know Salah could easily pop like a hat-trick against Bournemouth and maybe play good versus Liverpool. But answer me this question, would you rather have the likes of Saka, Rashford and Son, or would you rather have Matoma and Ciso and Salah? That's the way you have to look at it. That's the problem. That's the main problem. And that's the stupid dilemma I have. Let me just transfer. If you have got Bayer and Bow on the bench like me, just go and move Bayer to Bowlock. Just do that. Bowlock's just as high owned, I think, anyway. Yeah, 6.5, so. He's got Forest, to be fair, game week 2. And Crystal Palace game week 1. So he's actually possible to play against Forest. Because I actually think Sheffield United are going to come out really well this season. So Baldock's actually not a bad pick. You're definitely going to play Salah in, or do you want me to show you the draft you can do without Salah? What's your current team looking like? Let me go on, I think I've got a predicted score of like 68. Let's pull up Fantasy Football Hub. I am going to pay for a membership on this starting next month. I'm actually going to pay for the membership this year at like £3 a month because I think I can justify spending £3 a month on a membership for this because I do this every month, so I can justify it. But let me put my team in for now. So we've got Haaland, we've got Saka, we've got Rashford, we've got Jesus, we've got Archer. In fact, actually, I can't go my Joe Pedro though because I've got, I can't go my Joe Pedro because I've already got triple Brighton. That's annoying because I actually love the look of Joe Pedro. And then we're going to want Gross. Let me put my chat up on my phone, sorry, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to see anything you're typing. I'm playing Salah, no doubt. This is going to be interesting though, because you're actually going different to me this year. So it's going to be very interesting of how the teams actually play out. I can't justify Salah. I would love to own Salah, but I just think his price point is stupid. I think he should be like the 11.5 mark. I think the fact he's only 12.5 is a bit and that's why I'm sat at like the thing of should I really kind of thing. I would love to try and get Son in this team over maybe Mbumo, but then it's just ditching the likes of Trent and it just causes me headaches. You know, it just hurts. It really, really hurts. And it's hard because you're trying not to go too differential to start off with because it's really going to wreck your rank. But then you so want to try and gain the edge on everyone else, but you've got to be really careful of how you play the first 6 game weeks out because it's really going to determine of how good your season's going to be. That first 6 weeks are the most important weeks in the whole year, if you ask me. Those first 6 weeks are when the game releases and you start. They're the best and most important 6 weeks. Pickford, Shaw, Gabriel, Stupinham, Matoma, Salah, Eze, Saka, and Bruno, Ferguson, Haaland. Do you know what worries me with that team? And this is what really worries me. Right? I love Ferguson. It's just the fact you don't have Jesus. That worries me so much. So much. I think, for me, not having Jesus, he could be a flop like last year, don't get me wrong. But I just think not having him is a bit of a iffy thing, because for me, I'm going Jesus for the first 3 game weeks, Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace, Fulham. Or I'm going to go in for Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace, and then change him to Nkunku for game week 3 onwards, because Chelsea have a great run of fixtures. But it's really going to depend. Let me just put the rest of the defenders back in. we want to see actually what kind of game rating we're actually going to get for this team. It's really interesting this year though, because I love all of the differentials like that everyone's going with, and all of the like different shouts and different teams. I think the FPL have truly made the game better this year because everyone's having more different teams. I know there's a template, but people are leaning away from the template with a couple different players each here and there, which makes the game so much more interesting compared to what it was like last year, where everything was literally just so template. I mean, look at the first game we drafted last year where everyone had Bell and not Bell, so, Bailey and Neves. How wow did that end? How well? Like I think Neves didn't score. Was it Neves we had? It was someone we had Neves or some Wolves midfielder didn't score a goal the whole season. Bailey didn't start doing well till later season. It was like really, really bad. Baldock. Which is why I'm like still cautious. I need to, by the way, boys, I'm gonna let me fix the team before anyone starts saying anything because the players aren't actually in yet. Why can't it just start the good players? It knows you're obviously going to play Haaland, so just put Haaland in already. Haaland captain. Rashford vice captain. In fact, no, Saka vice captain. And that is my current team rating and what the team's currently looking like. How much better it's going to get, I don't know. Right, now I've sorted that out, let's have a look at your team slate. Pickford, Shaw, Gabriel, Stuplan, Matoma, Salah, Eze, Saka, and Bumo, Ferguson, Haaland. Yeah, I know you're experimenting. The thing is, if you want Salah in that team, the thing for me is, I'm going to point this straight out. Eze, I'm not keen on. The reason I'm not keen on Eze, I just think Palace ain't going to do as well as people think, and I just think Eze's a bit stupid of a pick. I think I'd rather go, personally, I would rather go, if you're going to run that, I would try and go Haaland and Kunku and Bumo and Ciso, Salah, Matoma, Saka. So I'd go Ciso instead of Eze and then Kunku instead of Ferguson. But you can get Jesus instead of Ferguson, that'd be great. That's it was Neto, not Neves, exactly, I forgot. It's bit, yeah, it haunted me that much I actually forgot who the hell it was because it was just the most stupid thing I ever did. Start of the season was ridiculous. I literally remember me doing my first game week draft that consists of like Neto, Bailey, Haaland, no sorry not Haaland, Kane, Nunez and someone else. If everyone knows, by the way, last season I did not have Haaland for the first game week. I had Kane, and then I moved Kane to Haaland, and then my last season to be honest ended up being a bit of a crap show. I think that was the worst season I'd ever had for like 3 years straight. Last season was just bad. I think I finished like 900k or 850k or something silly, like 1 mil, something stupid. So this season we're going to aim for our normal scores of around 100k rank and try and get our normal scores back. So we're going to try and aim for the top again. But we're going to put a lot more dedication into it this year and try and go back to our normal 100k, 50k, top 200k scores. It's just really hard to try and get things. I'm more concentrated this year though. And I am going to try and get some better graphics in for the stream, some better pictures, images, intros. I'm going to try and work over that this year. Obviously, bear with me because I'm not the most phenomenal person ever with computers and I do have certain problems I need to fix now and again. But it does seem the camera does work better than all the other mics, so that's why we're running that. And we burnt, yeah I know Slay, we got burnt. Let me just create another slide that I can put your team in, Slay. And I will put your team into the slide right now. We'll have a look at what your team's looking like, what the rating's looking like. I'm assuming you've got Areola on the bench. I'll take the assumption you've got Areola on the bench because everyone has Areola on the bench. Anyone who doesn't have Areola on the bench, or at least Pickford's backup, those are the two you either want. Either Pickford and Areola or Pickford and his backup. I can't remember who it is though. So let's put your team in, Slay, and we'll see what your team rating is and your points is, and then we'll see what we can tinker with your team. But if you want Salah, it's going to be a bit of a hard thing to tinker. That's a problem. I do think there's better routes, but it's up to you. Pretty much what you want to run. I just think Bombo. I just think going no Jesus and no Arnold. 520k for my first season. In fact, yeah, if you finished, hold on. I was going to clarify to everyone as well. The last 3 weeks of the season, I was basically on holiday, so I did not hardly look at the last 3 weeks of the season. But let me have a look. Correction, I finished like 550k, I think. I finished something like that. But I've pretty much last year, I got to the point last season where I was like, if you don't go Rico Henry Slay and you go Bell and Baldock, I might be able to pull something quite good off here. So let me just put Baldock in instead of Rico Henry if you don't mind. As I don't think Rico Henry is pretty much worth it because you're probably never going to play. So I wouldn't go for any 4.5s on the bench, I would just go for 4 mils to start off with. And then obviously your midfield is Matoma, which anyone who doesn't have Matoma, just have Matoma. Just don't make your life stressful by not having Matoma, because what I don't like, Slate, and this is why I think you going without Salah is better, you don't have Rashford. You just don't have Rashford. And I think when you look at Rashford's ownership, I'm quite sure, let me just run, I am going to finish your team, but let me just check Rashford's ownership. 41%, right? What's Salah's current ownership at? And this is why I'm saying things like this, because if you look at it this way, Salah's current ownership's at 26%, Rashford's at 41%, right? And you can essentially have Rashford, Saka and Son. This is what I'm trying to say, like, I know that's your team, but I'm going to try and tinker with it. And I'm going to take Salah out for now if you don't mind, and then I'm going to put Salah back in and we're going to see what the ratings look like. So we'll put Salah in to start off with, but I'm going to show you completely what the difference would be compared to you having Salah and you not having Salah. Obviously you don't want Trent, which is fair enough, so I won't put Trent in the draft. But so actually, I'm not going to probably be going Trent myself, to be honest. I probably won't be touching Trent myself in the end, but at the minute he's in there just for the security reasons. Haaland, Ferguson. I don't mind Ferguson. Archer. And your essentially predicted points, if I save the plan and we optimise team, or just literally, this is what pisses me off about this freaking site. Unless you pay for the membership, it's a bit stupid. Right. So with Haaland captain, your current predicted points is 64.7, and that's with Salah in the draft. Which, fair enough, that's not a bad team. And you have 3 mil in the bank. So with that 3 mil in the bank, it's whether you want to keep that 3 mil to possibly go to Trent, or would you want to invest in Son? Because that's the way I'd look at it. Would you want to invest in Son? You think Ferguson's going to play for United? Yeah, he's on the future target list, but at the same time, we want that Rasmus Højlund, so it's really going to depend. If I do see any news, I'll put Ferguson in myself, because those fixtures are great at United. But at the same time, would I want to go without Jesus, who's like 40-something% owned? Would I really? And that's the way I know you want to try and go differently, start the season, but you just need to go template as hell for the first 6 weeks. And then once you get to your wild card, let's say game week 7, game week 6, game week 8, that's when you can maybe throw a couple differentials in. But you've got to be really, really template. Like my team's completely template apart from Gross. That's how you've got to be. Quite solid on the template. I think you can afford to go without Trent and you can go with Shaw, as Trent and Shaw are just equally as owned. That's fine. You don't need Trent. And fair enough. If you don't want to go Trent, don't go Trent. Eze, the thing with Eze is he's got Sheffield, yes, but then he has Arsenal and Brentford. Do you know what I mean? I'm not trying to be like thingy, but like, would you rather have Salah at 26% owned at 12.5 mil, or would you rather have Rashford and another 8.5 mil midfielder, and Rashford and that 8.5 million midfielder will accumulate more points over time and be higher owned than Salah? I know Salah can burn and Salah can go and get a hat-trick one week, but long term, Rashford and more money in your midfield and more money in your whole team is better, because essentially if you go without Salah, you can have Jesus, Arsenal's tailsman up front. You can have Rashford, Man United's tailsman on form. You can essentially have Foden, all for the same, just not having Salah. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing. But you have Foden as a differential, don't you? Or you can have Pascal Gross as a differential. You know, you can have these differentials in your team. Obviously, if you want to keep Ferguson, then go Ferguson over Jesus. Jesus isn't 100% you have to have Jesus. That's fine. Because if you go without Jesus, you could do what I had the other day, where I had Ferguson and Calvert-Lewin. You're having two 6 mil strikers for the same price as Jesus. That's a good deal. And you'll have 0.5 million. Well, actually, you wouldn't. But you could have Calvert-Lewin and you could have Ferguson for the same price as having Jesus, if you wanted two 6 mil strikers like that. Or you could have Ferguson and another 5 or 6 mil striker. I mean, I like the looks of Kluivert at 5 mil. I think he's a striker, is he a midfielder? I can't remember. For Bournemouth. But he's a good player, Kluivert is. So again, he's not a bad pick. Cameron Archer's pretty template on the bench, mainly because he will play. But if you do want someone who's not going to go down in price, then go for Sims, because Sims is most likely getting a move to like League One or something silly like that. I can't remember who's getting moved. So here his price will be set in stone. So that's where you've got to look at it. It's just trying not to... I'm not forcing you. You can keep Salah if you want to keep Salah. I'm just trying to point out points that might stop you from having a effective rank to a degree. Like if you remove Salah... Sorry, remove player. Switch player. Rashford. Your points have gone from 64.7 to 65.5, and you've got another 3 mil. I don't like Trippier. I like Trippier later on in the season, but don't go near Trippier. At 6.5 mil, is he worth it compared to the likes of Shaw, Estupiñán and Gabriel? No. His fixtures are crap. He's probably not going to come out near enough as attacking. And you can have Shaw, who's on set pieces, gets good clean sheets. Gabriel, great fixtures. He's on the set pieces for headers and stuff like that in the box. Estupiñán's over 50% owned, and Trent is up there as well. So anyone who really, no one's putting Trippier really into that mind, unless you're a basic player, for me, as I just don't think Trippier holds value. So if we move Eze out for you as well, so who's the likes of you could go for instead of Eze? Like if you wanted, and I'm going to show you exactly what you could do if you decided not to go with Salah essentially, is you could do this. Yeah, you could essentially do this. and then you'll go, oh yeah, crap, I can do this, and then you'll be like, wow. This is basically what you can do if you don't have Salah in your team. You can have Son, Rashford, and Bruno Fernandes. Yes, you don't have Mbeumo and you don't have Eze. Bruno's better than Eze. Son's probably better than Mbeumo long term, and he's probably going to shine this year. Rashford's probably better than Salah, and because you've got all three of them, those three great fixtures and those three all make up for the same price as Salah. So that's where I'm trying to say is, why would you go for Salah when you can have these three? Or Mbeumo instead of Son, and then go for a higher price striker. There's so many options. I mean, you could essentially switch him now, and you could have, if you didn't want Jesus and you wanted a differential as a Chelsea fan, you could put Nkunku in. You know, and that's what I'm trying to say. Is Salah necessary when you can have all this money in midfield and have a better midfield? Is he necessary? That's the point. And that's where I'm thinking with Trent. Like, I probably want Son myself instead of Mbeumo, so I'll probably drop Trent to Shaw, depending on how Trent plays. But that team, when you look at it, and this is what I'm saying, when you look at it in the long run, if it allows me to go to game week 2, most of the weeks, the team rating and the game week rating is ridiculously high. All the way up to 6. 6, 94, 99, 93, boom. The fixtures are decently good for that team. It's not telling you have to go with that Salah, it's just more the points of like, and if you don't want Nkunku look and you want Ferguson Slay, and you want Ferguson, you could go Ferguson and you could go Calvert-Lewin, and if you want to go the same differential I've gone and not go Mbeumo, you could essentially go for Pascal Gross. I know you can't because you're Ferguson. Scratch what I just said. Let me move Salah back to Son. Hold on, I didn't mean to do that. Right, there you go. And essentially you've got Calvert-Lewin to back up Ferguson, Calvert-Lewin to back up any midfielders. You've got Bruno's on penalties, Rashford's great attacking. They're both predicted higher points. Both of them together, look, Salah was predicted 5.8 points. Rashford's predicted 6.6, Bruno's predicted 6.4. Eze was predicted 4.4, Salah was predicted 5.8. So that's a total of 10.2, and these total to a total of 13. And you've got both of the Man United's top attackers, even though Bruno's deeper, he's gone pens. Rashford's going to be attacking and scoring goals. The first 3 fixtures are great. You've got Son as a differential. You've got Matoma and Ferguson. Ferguson's still a great pick with those first 3 fixtures. If he moves to Man United, you've got an even better player. You've got Shaw. You could essentially end it with 4 United players here if Ferguson moves to United. So yeah, it's a good point. And you have Calvert-Lewin, who's on penalties as well. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 penalty takers essentially. Because Calvert-Lewin, Bruno, Saka, and Haaland, and it's obviously Gross being pens for Brighton, most likely, but Shaw's still great attacking. You've got a great lineup here, and that's what I'm saying. You've got to really experiment. Like, my team was looking pretty much like this, but then I decided to look at Gross because Gross was a differential. Your team would look like this essentially if you went for this team. This is what I come to at the minute, and I like this team because I've got 2 million in the bank. I have a very strong team, and I can move to anyone I want. Look, I can move Gross to Bruno Fernandes. I can move Mbeumo to Bruno Fernandes. I can move Gabriel to Robertson, Van Dijk. I can move Estupiñán. I can move Pickford. I can move Jesus. I can move to Son. There's so many moves. Well, I can't move to Son actually, but I would if I free up another 0.5. But there's so many moves I can do that a lot of people aren't thinking, okay, let's leave some money in the bank and move players. And that's essentially what I'm thinking, because my 2 Brighton assets, they hold decent points. Saka, Rashford hold decent points, and Mbeumo has obviously got Tottenham, but he's on pens. Jesus and Haaland are essential for me. Arnold, Estupiñán and Gabriel are decent, and Pickford's decent, The reason I won't go Ferguson, I'd love to have Ferguson in, is because Gross is just amazing. You're going to eat some breakfast? Yep, have fun, Slay, bro. I'm going to be finishing up soon anyway in a good another 20 or so minutes, but yeah. Have fun, brother. Enjoy your breakfast, man. Some tinkering is good. Tinkering is good. It's pretty much where I'm sat at the minute, though. We're just going to see. There's no way Pratik is today, though, to be fair, man. Yeah, Slays, honestly say no worries, bro. Obviously, like I've said, I'm finished school now anyway. I've got a solo apprenticeship and so on, so literally I'll be streaming most days in the week. Certain times, be streaming most weekends every weekend, and I'll be streaming every chance I get, so I'll be making videos and so on as well, so don't worry about it, bro. All good, man. Go enjoy your breakfast. I'd say we're going to do another like 25 to 30 more minutes, guys, maybe a little bit more than that, depending on how many questions we've got and how many streams we need to go through. If you've got any questions, you want to just drop them in the chat right now, and anything else, just drop it in. And we'll look at it, getting everything else sorted out. That's pretty much just how we're going right now, though. I don't know whether, guys, I'm tempted still, though, by the way, is to go Mbeumo to Bruno Fernandes. That could be a good move. That could be a good move. It's Justin Bruno and Bruno pretty much equally high owned. That's high owned. They're both on pens, though, to be fair. And our fixtures are better, to be fair, with Forest coming up, Wolves, Tottenham. We have got decent fixtures. So it's pretty good, to be fair. Yeah, I know, Slay, bro, it's great. There's going to be so much more streams, so much more things going on, and I've got time now to focus on this. And obviously I'll have my apprenticeship sorted by the end of next month, or early next month. I've got everything set in stone, everything sorted out, everything's smooth sailing, you know. Obviously I got back off holiday just Saturday, early morning yesterday at 3. We got back, so that was great. And pretty much now we're just going to be focusing on my FPL channel, my streams, FPL, day-to-day things I've got to do, and just get everything sorted out. So everything's going great, to be fair, boys. And I am planning, and I am going to sort it out. I am going to get a new microphone for this old one we've got here, but the minute we can use the camera for now, I know the microphone book's out, so I am going to sort a new one out. Which is absolutely fine. I do think this year is so hard. And I'm really going to struggle to try and pick my team out for the first game week draft. As there's just so many options, and I'm tossing and turning between the likes of Sterling, Maddison, Gross, and Foden, I think. And I do like Bruno Fernandes, obviously. I love Bruno Fernandes as a Man United fan. It's just really whether he's going to sit deep. And that's my current problem. Is Bruno Fernandes going to sit deep, or is he going to be more of an attacking player this season like he was last season? And that's the thing. If he's going to be really attacking Bruno, and he's going to be straight, like, proper attacking, maybe even on higher, like, a cam position, then I'm going to go all in for Bruno. Definitely have Bruno in. Especially since he's on penalties as well. But that's solely going to depend on how everything goes, how everything looks, what's going on with the teams, and everything else in general. But it's really hard at the minute for me to try and get the team right. Really hard. I do think though, this is pretty much where I'm sat for the team right now, boys. This is where I'm sat. So, we're going to do some more tinkering, boys. We're going to be in the Discord. Anyone who wants Discord, just literally put some comments on here, hit me up, get in the Discord. I'm in there all the time chatting, sorting teams out. I hope everyone's having a good day. I hope everyone's having good weeks tinkering their FPL, and I hope everyone's not as much stressed as I am with FPL at the moment. Sorting teams out. I hope everyone has a good weekend. as a decent rusty week, even though I will be back in the week. So I will be back here most likely for a stream on either Monday or Tuesday, depending on how busy I am. I should be on here Wednesday, as far as I'm aware. Friday is a must. I will be Fridays. Fridays I will do every week. Saturdays, most likely not. The deadline streams will be on Fridays this year, every Friday. I will not do an early deadline stream as I just don't have the time. So I will apologise for that, boys. But because I'm so busy, I don't have the time, so it will most likely be a Friday later night deadline stream for the deadlines. And then just a general chat in the week. We'll have a couple streams a week where we just do a couple transfer chats, a couple news. Maybe I'll do a deadline stream early if I've got some busy stuff to do. And that's pretty much what I'm at, so yeah. Hope you all have a good day, boys. This has been your boy FPL Josh, and we are out.